Hi everybody, this is Hero back with another Axis and Allies 1942 Gen Con 3.0 game for you. In this game I'm doing a hot seat game with low luck, and I'd like to show you round 1 for every single country's turn. Talk about a little bit of the pressure points and the decision making that goes into each turn. And what I'd like to do is show you this idea of a German turn 1 that pressures the UK or England. And the goal of it is to drop transports in Sea Zone 5, which then apply pressure to the UK and force them to make a decision early in the game. So, Russia's turn is largely in competitive play, bound up by trying to push back West Russia and Ukraine, and the reason for this is because we can't hold Karelia. There's this conduit from the Baltic states that allows so much armor or tank pressure, and what we want to do is force Germany to have to stack enough units that the swing back from West Russia is not ideal, and that gives you enough dead zoning pressure to allow the Allies to jump back into the fight, or for the UK and the US to do a kill Japan first strategy if you want to. But as I said, essentially we need to, you can do this a few ways, but we need to more or less dead zone Karelia so that we can kick back and fight it and really reduce German pressure early on. That involves a standard 9-12 attack, and with low luck we want to ensure that we are doing the West Russia fight first. And the reason for this is we may have to pull out of Ukraine depending on how the losses are. So you set it up something like this. Fighters down here. That's what it looks like. We're going to start shuttling guys backwards. First, just make sure you click on West Russia before you begin. Go to the next phase. So standard hits here. A little unlucky. Russia prevails, and then the low luck in Ukraine is likely not going to do good, so we might sweep it. So 3 hits. Darn, we really wanted 4 there. And they got a bunch back. So now we have this problem. If you look at the combat board here, we only have 1 more hit to give for our ground units until we get into our high value tanks. The opponent, and again they're defending with the bomber being preserved in the event that, I don't know, this isn't that great depending on the kind of defensive profile you want, but let's just assume we prefer to secure our bombers. So we could let this be, or we could try to chew into the fighter and the bomber, but that requires us to get enough hits, right? I'll show you what it looks like. 2 + 1. Here's the trouble. We need to roll this, which is a good hit, 5, to get into these fighters. We get it. Again, this is the wrong defense profile, but you get the idea. And they miss. So that's kind of fortuitous for us. If you imagine pressing on here, we would probably end up losing a tank. Because the fighter would be rolling, but I did it this way in part because I want to make sure that we have the 3 tanks here so you can see what it looks like. 1 here, 1 here. Move all the guys, because usually, well, let's just do the Szechuan play, which is normal, right? we will send these guys back. We can leave 2 guys here, which is probably fine. And the sub over to 7. And that basically wraps up turn 1 for the Russians. Put our tanks in Germany, infantry in Caucasus, and off you go. Now, for the Germans, typically we want to build dudes or dudes in a bomber. But what I like to do is try and force a tempo by building a couple of transports and a couple of cruisers and put them in C-Zone 5. And the reason for this is you can use C-Zone 5 as a pivot point for the rest of the game. If the UK does not commit planes to kill it, which is extremely dubious on round 1, given some of the other priorities, then these transports can just be used to move northern troops back into the German theater, or vice versa, shift infantry up into Karelia really quickly. So there's a lot of interesting outcomes here, and it forces the UK to make a decision early on. Since we have 3 tanks here, we have to come with a bit more pressure, and this AA gun we have to challenge to some degree. But what are the options here? Well, if we're going for this strategy, my recommendation is that this cruiser needs to be taken on by the battle cruiser all by itself. What we want to do is bring at least 1 infantry to take Gibraltar so that the aircraft cannot engage very easily. We want to make sure that the transport is landing in the same territory as your battleship so it can cover for it. And we have to do one other additional strategy that's a little dubious. On low luck, I'll show you what it looks like. It's a little bit better when you don't have low luck, but we're doing these 2 planes in here to 7 to clean that up. Essentially, we want to dominate the area. This cruiser needs to stay in 5 to defend the transports and cruisers that are coming in. It's crucial. The 3-on-3, like 3 cruisers versus the 3 planes, is like a 52% victory for the UK. That's not enough in my mind to justify going in there. So I like this strategy for Germany. And we just load up a fairly strong attack here with all of those German armor. We need to make sure, because we're trying to maintain troop presence, that we are stacking in Karelia appropriately. But we will make it a minor stack, meaning we bring 1 guy from Belarusia down, who will be allowing us to avoid completely getting smashed by these if we have bad luck rolls. This fighter here, which can participate in killing the cruiser, or here, actually needs to stay in this region, because in either way we get sat in Morocco or we have to come back to Germany, and we're not really in range of France, Northwestern Europe, or Norway, which is the spaces that our planes need to finish their turn in order to put pressure on UK. This is the only way that you can force UK to commit to building anything on the mainland. Otherwise, they can just do normal stacks here in India and laugh at the pressure, because there won't really be enough to deal with it. Okay, so that looks pretty good for combats. Note again, the cruiser is not participating. We are not using this fighter in round 1. And the rest of our troop movement is going to occur after these battles have completed. Let's show you what the Ukraine battle looks like first. And here we're gambling fairly significantly. Oh, sorry. We're going to do the... Well, there's a couple of gambles here early on. So, this is okay. This is a fairly reasonable gamble. The hope would be to get out of here with more subs. But that's not always the case. And the low luck rolls ensure that we have fairly minor hits. So that was above average for Germany. One sub remaining, I think, given that we're not bringing that cruiser in. AA gun, please don't mess with me. Lucky. Again, in low luck rolls, adding the extra power in, so that one infantry from Belarusia, which will reduce our ability to stack Karelia, but you can see the value there. It gives you just a little bit more presence and potential. So again, low luck rolls mean you have to have brought enough material to justify the attack, or else it will just fail. So it's a good way to test out if your strategy will have enough grit to it. Every single piece here we want to move into a very particular zone to defend. So we're getting rid of these armor up here to the Baltic to apply pressure. All of our planes need to make it back to the coast. So one of them here, one of them here. One here to avoid the armor coming in. And then this one I think we want in northwestern. This tank is coming up here. This infantry back here. We want two dudes. Oh, excuse me. Did I do that right? No, I did not. This infantry is going up here. This guy can stay put. This guy can also stay put. Slide him over. There. And we're just going to move these guys, one into Germany and one artillery up here to help give some punch or some backup there. This tank is out of here. Reinforce on this side, and then this guy needs to stay here to defend against, or to at least allow a bit more pressure against any US incursions. I think that's correct. So we have 5 planes accounted for, which are all landing on the west coast. We have stacked 8 guys here, and 1 tank, which is not really enough to hold Karelia against the Russian push back, but it's really what we can afford to do to maintain pressure when we have a bunch of tanks stacked here. We're leaving Belarusia. We had a very good outcome in Ukraine, which may dissuade the Russians from going from West Russia. Again, you're just trying to precipitate a couple of extra pressure points while you set up your transit system in Sea Zone 5. You've got enough pressure here that England's got to deal with either 13 or 5, and they can't really land anything on their turn. And as a result, they're forced to stack at least some troops in UK. This Egyptian fighter can't really attack 13 because we've taken Gibraltar. And then they have to make a decision about whether they want to go for a smash into 37, shore up India, try to stack Burma, take out transports. It's a little bit messy since they're now divided in their attention. Hope you guys can see the basic strategy here. So make sure. I believe that is all the troop movements. I hope I've got them right to my strategy. Then we mobilize the 2 transports and 2 cruisers. The reason why we're doing 2 cruisers and not doing like an aircraft carrier is we want to threaten 4 bombardments at the beginning of UK's turn 1. So 1 from the battleship, and then 3 from the cruisers here, which will put a substantial dent into the defense of this region. Notice how light they are on units. So 2 infantry, 1 tank, and 1 artillery. 4 bombardments is a strong additional piece of pressure. When you're coming with 4 transports, that's 4 tanks and 4 infantry, that's 8 units. If you get 4 free shots, that's likely at least 1 hit that you're knocking out, which greatly improves the percentage of those land units not being destroyed, because there's no shot back when a bombardment hits, kind of like a sub doing a preemptive strike. So it's very, very good and must be responded to. Okay, on to the UK's turn. So traditionally the UK is in a position where Germany has done some kind of Karelia stack. They've got a bunch of guys on Germany. They have cleared out like this, 7. Maybe they've gone for a shot here at 11 or 10. They've probably done something with their battlecruiser here and very likely taken Transjordan. These are some of the typical things. But if you don't have that starting point, the UK has to make some decisions. Usually they can just put a couple fighters on India and shore up that defense, while either doing like some kind of a Borneo and New Guinea hit, or they have to kill off transports to slow down the progression towards Russia if there's a big stack and Russia had a very difficult turn 1, or they try to take out, as a beginning point to destroying Japan first, the major Sea Zone 37 fight, which is a little dubious in general, but knocking out those 2 fighters early in addition to that supporting fleet is massive for the US invading. So at this point, instead of making a kill Japan and kill Germany first strategy, when you see the transports in 5, you are already forced to turn your attention to the the Atlantic sphere. You cannot make a push into the US. You cannot make a push into Japan and expect the UK to survive uncontested here in 5. So it's a problem. It's a problem of tempo, is maybe the way to think about it. The tempo that Germany has spent on 3 transports, or 2 transports and 2 cruisers, means that they have less ground forces, but it also means that you have to defend an island that could potentially get locked out of the game. So how many guys do you need to put on this island? We are in a position where we cannot put a fleet out into 6, 7, or 8 because of all of these units. We have to kill some of them in order to do that. The US will have to follow suit with whichever side we go for. If we just kind of stack up England and try to abandon it and reroute all of our forces to India to do a kill Japan first, then what Germany can do is shuttle all of its forces quickly up into Karelia for a counterattack, because if Russia smashes back into Karelia, look at how many bombardments we get on Karelia, which are free shots that are going to essentially enable a huge shove into Archangel. So this is a tough decision for England. And I think one strategy that I think is probably worth checking out is, can we move forces up through to 17 with the transports, since the battleship has left this region? Knock out the battleship and transport here. Put enough units here with the US bomber and maybe the tank that you will dissuade the Sea Zone 5. And then count on holding India with our air power here, while allowing the US to get into the game. And then maybe the US is going to plop down an Atlantic fleet for 2 rounds from now. And then it'll be situated on 10 and it can come through decisively at France. That's kind of the thought. So the transport here is applying a bit of pressure into Italy and Southern Europe, Bulgaria, Romania, and even France itself, so that you cannot just shove through as Germany. So let's see how that goes. Again, this fight here, 3 cruisers versus a bomber and 2 fighters, is not that great. So we need to do the math here on an invasion. Say it goes horribly wrong and we don't kill the transport in 13. That's 4 tanks and 4 infantry coming in. So we have 2 infantry and an artillery and a tank. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll bring the tank from Canada as 5. So 8 against 5, with 4 of theirs being tanks, is not great odds. So we need at least 3 infantry to make that even. They can bring 5 fighters, and we only have really 2 fighters. So 5 fighters plus 3 infantry. So we need another, at least 2 more infantry. That puts us at 7 infantry. Our fighter in Egypt cannot get back to the mainland, but we will have a bomber as fodder from the US if we want it. We will have to sack our transport if we do this by putting the tank from Canada onto the mainland. So we might also think about just adding more dudes. Now, in India, if we do this, we're going to need some forces down here as well. Probably we abandon Burma and we back the guy off, or we leave him as fodder. We land the plane here in India. Well, actually, no, it's going to go up to 61, I think, to kill the transport with the cruiser. So that's, if we leave that transport, it can also hit, like, you can get Burma smashed by both transports. Or I guess you wouldn't assault India, but leaving this transport alone seems kind of dubious. So I think let's go as minimal as we think we can. So 5 guys into England. We'll maybe do 1 fighter in India and then 2 more guys in India. Does that make sense? I think that's going to be fairly good. For combat, we will do this attack here. Hopefully we don't lose our fighter plane. We'll use our transport, since our aircraft carrier is probably better served alive, and we're not going to kill Sea Zone 37. We're just going to use this one to come up here into 17. Maybe we can distract by hitting New Guinea, since this will take too long. It's got to go to Sea Zone 40 and 41 to swing around to the Atlantic. That's round 2. And then round 3. Even round 3, it's still not, it's only getting to Egypt, that direction. If we're not killing 37, this can only get to 30, which is vulnerable. It'll just get picked off by 37. So I think it's better to try and apply pressure. We can't hit Borneo with this crew, but maybe we can just do this attack here to complement our other strike. We could do, no, the subs there, we can't go there. because we want to bombard. So the bombardment here raises our chances substantially. So we'll do that bombardment. It's going to die off, but it'll buy us some time. There's no other major attacks we can do. We could consider this attack here, but I think this fighter is a bit too valuable. Although if it lives, we got kill 1, and then it goes 2, 3. We could catch it in 35, but then it just gets blasted by the Japanese Navy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We could put it in Caucasus. So wipe out the Germans here while we have the chance, versus put a transport here. If we're going to put the transport there, and we're building another fighter here, and we're going to essentially leave Burma to die, let's go for it. Oh, is it sketchy? That's a sketchy attack, isn't it? Let's look at the math. Can we get 1, 2? That doesn't connect, does it? No, it doesn't. So we can't transport guys into that battle. Let's see how bad this looks. Like, we don't mind losing the ground troops here too much. Okay, well, strong. Let's try it. That's probably, if we're going to be aggressive to fight against this opening, we want to really be pushing there. So we got to take out this fight here. What do we do about that sub? We can't really do much, can we? Unless we take the destroyer. Ah, see, this is awkward. That sub is really awkward. Do we send the destroyer up to kill the sub? I don't know if we can. What's the destroyer like by itself against the sub? Yeah, I didn't think it was that good. So these planes are kind of okay, but if we lose aircraft here, it's nasty. Like, it's really bad. We want to, if we get a hit back, we want it to be the destroyer that dies. So let's do that instead. Just always double check if your tank can enter in here. So there's 2 planes here, 1 plane here, 2 planes here. So it can't really aggress. And we have, obviously, Gibraltar. You could kill Morocco or Gibraltar, but I don't think it's that strong. So that looks like an okay set of turns. Let's take a look. Okay, please, good swings. Let's go, England. Missed the bombardment. That sucks. Oh my gosh. So this is awkward. Just rolling 2s. Okay. Well, that bombardment was, man, that was so important. Okay, so unlucky there. Miss, good, that's lucky. We got our, okay, I'll take that actually. Having that extra cruiser there is going to slow down the Japanese. This is a big one here. Missed, no! No! You have to roll a 1. Okay, good. Let's go. Hit. No, 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 no. Okay, so we don't care about the tank. We need this fighter. That's awkward. But we're going to bring that transport up, so it'll be okay. Here's what really matters. If we lose a fighter or a plane here, this would be really bad. Okay, we killed it. And they missed. Excellent. That's great. So even our destroyer lives. Plane up here to Caucasus. Actually, we're out. Technically, we can catch it with this aircraft carrier too. I think Caucasus is good. We really want, look at that German stack. We want to deal with that, right? This guy we can put in Szechuan, or we can catch it with that aircraft carrier. It doesn't make sense to do that. Szechuan seems good to me. It's landlocked so that the Japanese can't really attack it very easily. We're not going to try to contest 35 because we haven't gone after any of their naval. Burma seems like a death trap. So we'll go to Szechuan. Do we have any tanks? There's no tanks here, right? What if we just gave Burma uncontested? We take this guy. Yeah, that's okay. We're dropping a couple guys there, right? Maybe we just take one. Maybe we just take... Do we have an artillery? Where's our artillery? No, we lost it. Just take one guy off of here, because it's really sketchy. We bring the aircraft carrier through to 17, which can catch our fighter if we want to use it later in Caucasus. Send the planes back home. The bomber. The bomber. If we put the bomber in Egypt, it can... Are we punching back with India? Probably not. We're probably just defending with India, right? But maybe we catch a transport that's in an awkward position. We can do that with Szechuan as well. Again, these are tough choices here. I think the bomber has to stay in England. We can also shore up Caucasus with this bomber. No, just in case. Let's do this move here. We're giving up the transport, but we really want to respect the danger from the Germans. We'll move Buddy up, bring our subs to defend, stack our dude over here for no particular reason. The destroyer's fine. You can see how some of these decisions, maybe they're not totally correct, but it takes a little bit of thought to put together the whole Allied plan when you split the map this way because of Sea Zone 5. But I think that largely captures our approach. And I think that was actually fairly reasonable for the UK. So again, our fighter... Well, what if... Do we need... Yeah, we need a fighter there, right? And two guys. We did knock out their transport, so I'm not too worried about India at the moment. And then mobilize 5 guys there for 7 total. Again, this transport can always bring these 2 guys back through, right? We knocked out... This is pretty decent to knock out the German forces here. It's a good deal of pressure on Italy. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Okay. So looking at Japan, they are seeing the pressure from 5, and they're saying to themselves, okay, it looks like the stack on the UK is going to be strong enough to repel. You've got 2 tanks, so 7, 8, 9, 10 ground units, 2 planes, 3 planes. They've gotten rid of Sea Zone 13 with success. Germany's going to be spread a bit thin. There's good enough defense in Caucasus from the UK, and Karelia is somewhat weak, although the counter push seems pretty strong given that we have 6 friggin' tanks on Ukraine. So we want to start applying pressure 7 dudes, 1 plane, and we can only reach it with 1 transport, and that's not good enough to pressure it. So do we do fleet work here? It was a little more fleet work than we'd like. What's the play here for Japan to support Germany? I think there's a couple of schools of thought here. One is this trick of stacking the UK that the Germans have just forced onto their opponents means that the US has to make a serious decision about what it's going to be doing in this theater. Is Russia really going to have a strong enough counterpunch to make a difference if you can shuttle a whole bunch of troops through Sea Zone 5? I don't know. So is US sort of forced to do Atlantic Fleet stuff? Do they have time to wait a few turns? What if you applied a lot of pressure and kept them busy defending the western United States? Or is it better to just pile on the pressure on India? They have sort of given up Burma. They didn't touch Fleet 37. The canal's closed, but they are on the other side. Let's try the India effort. So what we probably want to do here is rebuild. Okay, actually we could think about this. French Indochina as a site for an industrial complex. This would mean that on our second turn we can drop 2 tanks here. If we're still stacking up India with things, we are potentially applying a lot of pressure. Nah, is that slow? What if we just got 2 transports instead? Two transports. There is a fighter here. We'd have to defend them pretty heavily. We have our fighters there in 37. So maybe we just begin the push toward Burma. Clear out all the naval stuff for the UK. And get ready to ship a bunch of dudes. So how many do we have here? We have 1 tank here and 4 guys, so that tank's gone. Oh, we also have an artillery. The tank and this guy, so we have 3 dudes and artillery, so we need another 2 tanks. Actually, maybe we can make this cheaper. 2 artillery. So that captures all of the guys. So there's how many? Purchase? No. 3 plus 3. Need 1 more transport? Is that kind of a sketchy play to get 3 transports? Maybe not. I think that accelerates things for Japan. We can't really hit Szechuan, which is a little awkward. But we can punch here into Anhui. We do need to get rid of this cruiser. Let's bring our first troop over. and hit go to C-Zone 36. Do we go straight to Burma here? Or do we just put one dude in Burma and then get ready for our tanks the following turn? I think... Oh, I messed that up. Excuse me. Transport, do your transport stuff. Tank. There we go. Go in here. He's gonna stay there because he's gonna defend Kwangtung. One guy in there. One guy up there. Bring our battleship over here. Ooh, do we want to bring battleships there? If we do that, we're in range. We gotta stack everything on 49 if we do that. Is that the end of the world? Probably not. Oh, it's interesting. These fighters are actually in range of 17 because we can catch them with the aircraft carrier. Is that worth it? Destroyer and aircraft carrier to knock out the counterpunch. Let's leave these fighters until the end and see what that's like. Bring this up. I guess we got to do it this way. What else do we have here? A fighter. Help there. This fighter. Can help here. Since the Russians are not pressuring, we'll add in one dude. The bomber. Can apply pressure here. Did our battleship go in here? Our battleship hasn't gone yet. I guess we take the battleship here. If we land the fighter planes here with the aircraft carrier in 36, it'll protect our transport probably well enough, right? And then there's only the one cruiser there, and we're sending a battleship there. Maybe that's overkill, right? 6 versus 2. What am I pressing on here? Oh, this fighter here. Right. So yeah, look, we could... Wait, can this bomber get over there as well? Nope. These fighters... Maybe this is the gamble here. Then that fighter and that fighter will come and attack. Will they? Will they really? I think this is probably a good gamble to relieve the pressure from Germany if we're going to be doing that sort of work. Probably decent. Okay, that looks pretty good. Notice how sharp this is. When we do this starting with Germany, things are pretty sharp. Got it. Missed. Good. That's useful. It'd be annoying to lose some stuff to that one cruiser. It gets like double value essentially. Missed. Good. It's a good start for our invasion. On we. Did we bring it? Please tell me we brought a fighter. Okay, good. He rolled well. Glad we brought that one dude from up north. Nope, okay. These are all fairly good attacks, right? We're bringing in enough material so that even on a low dice roll, it's a fairly reasonable ask. Okay. That wasn't bad. Okay, here's the big one. Whew. Okay, we gotta kill this and not get hit. Hit! Please don't hit me. Woo! Alright, so that was a huge gamble, right? I don't know if that's worth it. Where can this go? Oops. Yeah, so we have to catch it here. Now that's a little bit undefended. Everything else is going to go hang out in 36, right? Where's our... Where is my transport? Oh, I put the transport in 41. That's actually okay. Is that the bomber? Bomber can go there. Maybe we just catch it. Is there any other fighters here? Yeah, that aircraft carrier is going to be kind of out in the middle of nowhere. But it's kind of dangerous for them, right? Just pile up here in Kwangtung because we don't want our dude to be alone. Can we move one more dude over? Is that embarrassing? If he marches down, then it's annoying. Yeah, we'll have 3 transports. It's not a big deal. Is that okay? So, Kwangtung's what I'm worried about. Americans... No, see, this is defensive. They can't all coordinate here. Fairly reasonable opening. Battleship, sub, and cruiser. So they have access to destroyer, sub, and 2 fighters versus battleship. No, maybe this is just a little ambitious. Let's keep it in 49. And whoever was going here, cut that out. You can go back there. You can come here. I think that's enough stability. So they're here. 1, 2. All right. Transports in 60. Couple artillery there. Oh, wait. Do we have to put these in 62? 1, 2, 3, 4. So they get hit there. Or these fighters go 1, 2, 3, and then they catch it in 59. Dang it. So we just might have thrown 3 transports into the garbage can. So 60 is better because it pulls their aircraft carrier into 59. Which we can then hit with battleship, destroyer, bomber. Maybe this is a good bait. Okay, guys, I know you're laughing at me. Well, let's play it out. Okay, so the Americans, they see what's happened here. They see more or less India under fire, lots of pressure. They see Germany loading up to hit England, so this double pincer attack. They see Zone 17 kind of wiped out, and then Russia more or less stable because of the lack of infantry from Germany. So the question is where to apply pressure, since we have to alleviate this stack, allowing the UK to get their fleet going. They do have this transport and this destroyer, but there's too much fighter power on the west coast right now. So how to do this? Well, there's obviously the initial attack you can do on Morocco, but it's not supported by much. There's just the destroyer there, and we can't land anything else in the region. There's the idea of pressuring the Japanese. So there's this transport. We can slow them down substantially, although this transport here is still in range of India next turn, though I don't know if they'll kill India next turn. But it will substantially slow down the capacity for Japan to move its troops from the mainland. So there's that, and that can maybe be done at the cost of only the Hawaiian fleet, as I was just mentioning. Again, I think if you use all of your stuff as Japan to come in here, maybe this is overkill, then you have an opening from 60 or 62 from either Szechuan or the Hawaiian Islands. So it might be a moot point. We probably want to put our bomber in the UK, both because you can apply pressure to Germany with bombings, but also to ensure that Germany does not try to hit the UK next turn. 5 fighters, 3 tanks, 3 infantry. Maybe it's not enough. We still got to kill that sub. Okay, so let's try an Atlantic push, and then we will cut down the Japanese efforts to kill India. India will be too slow. We'll reroute our Szechuan fighter to the Russians, and that will allow the Russians to punch Karelia, and the Germans can't really punch back. So maybe we'll put our additional fighter on Szechuan, from Szechuan on Archangel. Oh, although there's only, like, Caucasus is also a little weak. Maybe we'll throw it on Caucasus. This is kind of a tough idea. We'll do an Atlantic fleet, and to do that, I think we need aircraft. So we build the Atlantic fleet by giving ourselves air power on 11. We're using these fighters. We're going to move everything into 59 to kill this transport, so that's going to be kind of messy later. Maybe we'll leave this fleet over here. We'll move everything into 59. This transport we won't worry too much about. It's got 1, 2. It can also stay, right? We can just pressure with 59 on this side. Get our cruiser up into this region. And then move everything to 10. Yeah, okay. So we need aircraft carriers. We'll make 2 of them. 1 will catch all of these fighters here in 11. And then 1 will catch an additional fighter. Maybe we just send 1 fighter and then the other one goes to America. We also have this fighter here that eventually could be caught by that aircraft carrier, so I think that's a good start. The reason why we have to do this is because you can't really get across the sea without getting clapped by German bombers, so it's really awkward. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's better to put. Well, this one can't actually hit the transport. This one can, right? So that's the attack there. Do we have any more attacks? Could this one? Oh, this one could have hit as well. Yeah, that's fine. I guess the consideration here is, do we take a stab at this Japanese plane? Probably not worth it. That's fine. We can get this one into the Russian theater. Although, if we hit this one, then we don't have to do... Oh wait, we'd still have to catch it, right? 1, 2, 3, and then it needs to be caught somewhere. 58, which is in range. Is 58 better? Because if we do 58, then the transport from 61 is still out of range of hitting Hawaiian Islands. Ooh, well, we could do 58 either way with this. I think, is it 59 or 58? 58 is still in range of this fleet, but it gets out of range of this fighter, maybe? This bomber's okay. This fighter would be worse. Let's do that. 58 is a little bit better, I think. You're still back in range of this. Okay. Sorry, guys. This sounds like way too much thinking and planning, but I feel like you have to make some of these moves. Do we stop Sinkang's pressure? Yeah, I think we have to move a guy over. So let's go ahead with that attack. And just put everything in here. We can take a guy off of this island so that we got somebody. This just threatens, support in the region. And this will punish the Germans for not buying a bomber. Excuse me. We're going to catch in 11 and put this bomber here. And we're going to catch this one also in 11. Yeah, that seems reasonable, right? So that is the end of turn 1. Sorry, to do this in the other order. That's the end of turn 1 for the German attack England first idea. And where do we stand? Well, the Russians have okay support in Caucasus, so they'll probably not be attacked here given the stacks. They have a chance to punch back into Karelia, but at what cost? It seems like, given the transport idea in England, it seems like it's a good idea to hit Karelia as Russia, because you have support here, You're forcing the Germans to waste a bunch of resources, and you're probably just, working with your allies to ensure their pressure can't be mounted in the other direction. On the other side, we did lose the fleet in 17, meaning there's no allied pressure for the next turn. It has to wait for US's at the end of the US's next turn. The US is in striking distance of the coast, so you do have the western coast as well as the northern coast that's under fire. But again, a lot of the German posture here is organized appropriately to match up with any swings through Sea Zone 3. They do have this sub as well, which is likely going to take a strike at that transport. That would be fairly greasy if we managed to pull that off as Germany. Maybe there was a blunder on the Japanese turn, but it forces the pressure from the Americans to be applied. Obviously, I don't think they're going to take here, but you can see the consequences of this. This might be a fairly sharp line. But the Russians can't really interact with that too much of that at the moment. I think here I'm actually... Usually you would split with artillery. Maybe we need more than this, but I find at this point we probably have to start stacking dudes. If you see the potential column coming towards Karelia, you could put some artillery in there for punchback power, but maybe we'll get one since we have the extra $1. But I don't think you can afford any more tanks at this point. Okay, so let's take a look at what this battle looks like. Again, here's the threat from these tanks. Oops, we have to... Technically, we would blitz this dude through. And this one here. So that's saying strong, which I think if you're the Russians, you need to take this. It dead zones Karelia fairly well. It is a fairly strong commitment of units. So we've got to throw these 4 guys here and this guy here. We've only got 1 coming back to Archangel. We did put this guy here, so it's a little sketchy. Like, what do you guys think? Here's a kind of defining piece of the battle when you're thinking about this transport opening from Germany. Are you trusting that your allies are going to get to you if you thin out your herd? Let's give it a go for science. So you can see the low luck version to see if there's really enough power here. 5 hits, so we got a good roll there. 3 hits. So this looks like a fairly strong... Oh, we got lucky again as Russia. And they got unlucky. So this is the Russians getting lucky twice and the Germans getting unlucky with a low luck setup. Meaning we did bring enough Russian troops to justify it. And this was a really strong victory. Now here, because we have an Archangel, and we might think about poking at these transports and cruisers. That's a little bit awkward, but let's just move 1 back here and put 1 on Archangel as normal. I think it's okay with that result to apply pressure here, though some people might not like that. Szechuan, yeah, I think we're okay. And then just move all these guys over to ensure we have a fairly reasonable defense. Like, that's a strong stacking there in Russia, right? Man, that's close. So that's a good turn for the Russians. But artillery here. 3 dudes. And 5 dudes in Russia to finish up round 2. Now here's the turn where Germany would be looking to attack either the UK or funnel troops. And let's see what access they have. A sub left to apply pressure, so they just get that transport for free, which is kind of a big deal because it frees up a plane. I think generally speaking, when you see this, you're doing almost entirely infantry from Germany because you have the transports to move things around. So you can count on getting quite a lot of power. So that's, you want a good number. We don't need that many though, but we are building a few. Maybe we build 8 and 2 more fighters because of the pressure of these guys here. So you can kind of skip tanks in my mind as Germany if you've got this protected. We could also drop an aircraft carrier to support this and have our planes landing here if we thought they were going to try to take out, but I don't think anyone's really prepared to do that. So on we go. That's really a nice buy for us as Germany. So let's look at it. So we have a couple of attacks available. This is 3 fighters stacked up with 3, 4, essentially 5 dudes. We've got this stack here in Karelia, which seems a little scary. But we can also restack it ourselves. We've got obviously this combat to look at. So let me do the math on this one for us. Load 3, and then we're going to load 1, 2. This guy can't reach anywhere else. Although the northwestern dude would be fine too. Actually, it would go like this, because this guy can get into Karelia, so he would be attacking it. And there's 3. This would be hitting here. This would be hitting here. Just so you guys can see what it looks like to leverage this attack. All these planes have to be on the west coast for it to work. Otherwise, it is in vain. 14. And it's calling it implausible. Look at the defense posture here. 7 infantry, 2 tanks, 1 artillery. Implausible is what you get. That's after really the UK trying their best to devote a lot of energy to this. So kudos to them. Nobody's really lost anything, by the way. We still have the 5 planes. The UK has its 3 planes. So this is like pivot time when you see this, especially after Russia had a fairly good outcome there. But you could take an implausible victory. If you win, it's just like catastrophic because you cut off UK's entire next turn for purchasing. But look at now what we have access to in terms of attacks. We could even go over here and kill that. That would be actually pretty wild. These planes can hit this destroyer if we wanted, although there's a destroyer that much of a difference right now. They also just get to participate up here if we want them to. Let's cancel all this action. So instead we will reroute and we will head up to stack Karelia again. And here's one thing that's interesting. We can just reroute all of these dudes. And it doesn't really matter if Ukraine gets taken back, because we just apply a lot of pressure over here. We get bombardments if we want them. Let's just see, are we doing anything with these planes to kill this destroyer? Is that really relevant? This destroyer can go 1, 2 into 6, so that doesn't matter for killing the transports. It will matter later, but I think we can just say, let's put all of our power over here. And watch this pivot, guys, how strong it is. Now they're coming to the shores here. Or maybe we want to send dudes the other direction with this transport. So instead of walking this guy in, we put him in here. And we do this in a unique way. To get the bombardments, you put one guy in, and then he attacks. You put the other guy in, and he attacks. You put, yeah, we need to put this guy in here. Third guy in, he attacks, and then you get 3 bombardments from the cruisers. So even though this turn we're light on dudes, next turn we'll have a bunch to send up here, and that's how you get 3 bombardments out of these 3 transports. They're essentially firing 3 times, because even though this guy could just walk over from Finland into Karelia, and even those guys from the Baltic states could do the same thing, what you're doing is throwing them in the water first and turning it into an amphibious assault, which is kind of funny. Anything else that Germany wants to do? I think that's fairly clean. And let's see how it goes. So we just pivoted. 9 power from bombardments. We have to roll 3, missed, so we get the 1 bombardment. That's fine. So the defenders got an extra hit, which is good for them, but that's okay. We basically wiped them out with a great deal of pressure. And the pressure isn't because there's everything on Karelia right now, but it's because our to there. Actually, I think we need to give up these northern territories and just land everything here, because they can come with 3, 4, 5, which they will want to do if they see planes, right? So we put everything here. Northwestern, just stack this up a little bit more, and off we go. You can go over here. This guy can come back into Germany to be shuttled up later. And oh, one of these planes can't make it that far. That's fine. We can't really afford to put anything in Finland or Norway this turn, but our transports are going to be fine to do that. So just be careful where you land your planes later. It kind of makes a big difference. But you can see here, we've got 7 tanks, and that can't really be challenged. If we built a few tanks for Russia, I still think it wouldn't be enough, because you can only leverage 5 dudes from here with the two other fighters. So having this bombardment come back again the next turn with 7 more guys and 2 more planes is a bit difficult to handle. And that's the swap. So the UK, who now has some friends coming, still does not have a way to get its troops off of the island. And it has this additional problem of really needing to reinforce India. Now, it can just stall, is kind of what we're saying. Just stall it out. It's fine. You don't need this pressure anymore because the Germans moved everything north. We can just attack here, clean out that part. The U.S. is up here, forcing Japan to respond for a turn up here, so it's not a big deal. But you can't drop a fleet. There's a sub here. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 planes in range of England. Do we drop an aircraft carrier here and try to get our planes off the island? Well, then these 8 dudes just hop in the transport and come with some tanks and slap it down, you know? It's not easy. And look at this conduit here. You throw 6 infantry with 3 bombardments at Karelia next turn, and the Russians are going to spend a whole bunch of stuff to take this back. A little dicey. So, defense of India with maybe he's trying to do some utility with these fighters. Is it worth going after that? That seems kind of sketchy to try to hit that fighter. Although maybe it's important. Is there anything else we can do here? We could try. Does this make it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could try with 4 planes, if we built an aircraft carrier, to knock out the cruiser and transports. But then we may lose a bunch of stuff, and we will lose the aircraft carrier because of the UK's, or the next German turn. We can get a landing with the US here, or up north, which is the more available spot to help relieve pressure from Karelia. So that's not a problem. Maybe we're just not really losing and we need to defend and make sure everything's okay in Russia. So I think bomb Germany. There's no more... Oh, the German sub. Can we kill a German sub? Defend India. And try to build a fleet next turn. We could also try to pinch Ukraine. We don't have any tanks from Russia, so that doesn't really matter that much. So let's see how bad this... Oh, we have 3 planes here, actually. How much fuel do they all have left? 2, 2, 1. That one only has 1 fuel. So it cannot make it back to India. Is that okay? Putting it back in Transjordan, it's probably okay. How are the odds? Okay. Yeah, so let's do that. We can go one way with that dude. Is there anything we want to soften up here? Or do we just risk it and kill these guys? I don't think so. If we mess this up, it's so bad. But perhaps these fighters can get over here. 1, 2, 3... into Archangel, or maybe just to support these guys here. That probably makes sense. Bomb. Wait, the destroyer can come in, and then we can do that. That'll get rid of that sub. Do we need all 3? Maybe we just need the 2. And then this guy can go defend here. Because this will take us here 1, then you can't get over there in time. Please don't lose the bomber. Okay, good. Crappy hit, but you know what? We'll take it. Let's make sure we're picking the right plane. Destroyer, clean up the sub. Ooh, that's awkward. Don't hit, don't hit. Okay, good. What? Roll a 5. Why are we rolling 6s? There. Oh, we rolled a 5. Oh my gosh. Well, that's awkward. So I don't think we should put this one in Russia. Like, you could put it here, but then that bomber might just get wrecked. Russians get to go first. Well, we need the bomber for... I think it's better to do it that way. One plane isn't the end of the world. And this guy is probably better off here, right? What about our fleet? Everything's gone there. This is round 2. So we could put fighters here if we thought the Japanese don't have enough. But 3 fighters here is like 5 fighters, which is so strong against anything that they're trying to do, the Japanese are trying to do. And they're getting pulled up here, so we can maybe start to punch forward. Maybe we can actually push for Kiangsu. We don't have any naval power here, so it's going to be really awkward to use those fighters very well. Is there... Maybe there's a knockout punch here. If the Americans are coming over, let's put 2 here and 1 here. I do think we had to build fighters in general because we have a good stack of dudes on each one, and we have no capacity to put a full naval spread out. Okay, so this game was basically crushed by the stupid move of the Japanese to build 3 transports when they should just, as always, build bombers. So, my bad. We've got Buryatia. Looking kind of awkward. We do have our sights on India, but it's looking fairly well defended, even if we can hit it with a transport. And all of our stuff. I think we just build some fighters and look to clean up here in India. So, punch forward here, destroy this fleet. I mean, if we destroy that fleet, we've got fairly reasonable pressure, right? Wait, one of these guys can't... Oh yeah, we don't have enough aircraft carriers. Ooh, is this guy like completely out of range? That's super awkward. So we can only take 2 planes in there. How bad is this? Implausible. It's implausible. Maybe we needed those aircraft carriers. Well, it's kind of implausible that they attack and take the mainland. We can just shimmy on up the map and blast them the following turn if we put everything on 48. Let's abandon this idea. Where can this bomber hit? Anywhere useful? If we go up here into Szechuan with this infantry, then it's going to take us a long time to get back around here to India. So I don't like that move. Whereas, well, even the tank. Yeah, I don't think we do that. We go here. We go here. 2 there, 1 here. Now this is interesting. We could... Oh, we don't have any transports. Where does transport go anywhere? I guess we could take some dudes down. These guys can already get to Burma on their own. But this transport could also pick some dudes up from the mainland. Excuse me, from 37. And, oh, 37's in range. 1, 2, yeah, that's not really a good idea. Can we finish in 36 with everything? Maybe. Okay. So that's about all we can do there. If we leave everything in 61 or here, then we get 1, 2 into 58. We'll have 3 fighters in Japan, so it's not like they're going to go anywhere. They could land here in Shanghai, but do we really care? Not that much. We'll just blast that. Blast them. We'll load everything up on Burma. Yeah, so this plane needs to get to Burma by the end. These planes can all land in Burma. 2, 3. And then maybe we're making aircraft carriers next turn. Seems like it. Nothing else to clear out here. Oh, got one of the dudes. That's awkward. We do need to kind of speed up in Japan because we want to get to ooh. Okay. I thought I took more guys in there. We will retreat. That's awkward. These are both in range. Well, they're not going to come to 61. Yeah, let's move our whole fleet to 61. It's a better idea. wants to go there. Oh, transport. It's gonna take... No. One artillery. Move here. 1, 2. So, is this better? If they go 60 or 62, we can still reach it from 36, but it defends against the fighters. Slightly better in my mind. We give up an attack on Manchuria, but I don't think it's that significant. This guy needs to stay here. We're stacking Burma for a hit. Yeah. And this is, again, we haven't even gotten through round 2 yet, but already the game is so sharp. So Kiangsu is a bit of a bait. We don't have enough power. We only have the one transport, really, with the one guy on it, right? So there's only one dude. So Kiangsu and Philippine Islands are kind of poison. This really is just a tactical team, if you'd like. But we can't really mess around too much. If you go in here, for example, and take Kiangsu, yeah, you get one more victory city, but the problem is you get completely bodied by the Japanese. When your main goal is just to distract them from taking India long term. So in terms of our buy, I'm thinking we're bombing Germany probably, and we've got our aircraft carriers to move across. 1, 2. We can load those guys in 10. Are we going over with our transports this turn? See, this is the problem. Is round 2, the pressure is to hold Russia. Like, we can start to get a factory here as well on Norway. But if we go up here with our transports and our destroyer, those cruisers are going to wreck us. So we have to sort of move everything together. It's a tough one. If we don't attack now, then Germany reconsolidates its power after taking back Karelia, this dead zone, and Russia's really spent. Like these 8 troops moving up into Karelia with some cruiser fire is really nasty. You know, we could hit here with a reasonable and take France, but again, the cruisers just knock out all of our transports, so we'd have to build transports for next turn, and we don't even really have dudes to ship because we'd only be able to hit the coast. So we're 2 turns out. On turn 4, we could be coming back to France with more troops. This is obviously going to be defense. So I think we have to wait one more turn and consolidate power. If we wait a turn, what are we gonna be building? So this turn we're moving everything here, and then next turn we're going in. Bomber here goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it can't land anywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4 for a fighter. Similar story. Oh man, this is tough. Maybe we're looking to double up, so transport here and some guys, and then we can hit here at the same time as we hit up here and really divide the Germans, forcing them to have to choose, and we'll have all of our naval stuff with this region. Well, in fact, we could even split it because our cruiser will be in place there. That's probably the best way to apply pressure at this point. And we can build quite a few pieces here. So we'll have 2 guys moving over because we only have the 2 transports there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I gotta bring one more guy down. 1, 2, 3. So 3 transports catch those 3 guys. And I need tanks. That makes sense, right? We attacking anything over here? We could attack up here. 63 is out of range of their fleet, so we can put everything on 63. Well, the fighters are all there. That's kind of nasty, right? Is 53 out of range if we just shuttle back and defend? Or 52? Yeah, 52 is also out of range. But it's still in range for us, the Philippines and Japan. Those fighters can all get there if they build aircraft carriers. 1, 2, 3. No, just the 1 aircraft carrier. I think I'm doing that math correctly. We can also move this guy back, or we could just take a territory. I mean, that's kind of awkward, eh? Let's just do that. I don't want to take this fight amphibiously, so we're not attacking with that team there. Nice hits. Be nicer to hit with a little more strength, but you get the idea. Alright, let's not mess this up. So those transports are all sorted out. That guy could get in there, it doesn't really matter. Those are fine. Does this go back for defense? Yeah, let's defend here. And then 52. Just to get out of range. So they cannot build aircraft carriers and come with everything. This puts us in range of the Philippines. Alright. Reasonable turn. We are starting to apply some pressure, and I do think this is the best way to try and pincer with some turn 4 shenanigans. So on turn 3 we can come across here, and then turn 4 is really going to be where we start to make long-term pressure. So that brings us to the end of round 2. And I just want to show, I suppose, what the impact of this C-Zone 5 gameplay from Germany actually is. Russia looks slightly stronger, perhaps, than it normally would. Karelia is still mostly contested. Germany is coordinated very well with its pieces and continues to apply a fairly strong pressure on the attrition war in the east while clearing out any Atlantic fleets, but it is facing a buildup that it will have to deal with. So it's very likely that Germany is going to have to build bombers or a lot of planes to handle it, and maybe an aircraft carrier if they want to maintain 5. The Russians aren't actually doing that great even though it seems like they're maintaining these pieces. Like, yes, you can push into Ukraine. Yes, we can try to kill off a bunch of tanks. But I'd say the Allies are just slightly ahead. The US has been doing a really good job of dodging Japan while obviously crippling them with a mistake. You know what, I'm kind of happy that I put that in there. Instead of buying like 3 planes or something like that, buying the 3 transports that were sniped by the Americans and showing how that impacts the strategy. Is the Axis out of it as a result? Not really. You do have this pincer attack loading up, but the key takeaways for me is that C-Zone 5 is still a contested region and is still offering Germans a pipeline in either direction. The English have not been able to get a fleet going, or really have not been given the tempo to do so. But once you can see there, once the Americans get over in the end of round 3, you can see that the UK can start to think about building up tempo. Since UK goes after the Germans, all of the Germans' pressure right now, there's nothing on the Atlantic, is going to be towards the Russians, so they will have an opportunity to put a fleet down, knowing that the Germans are coming right behind them. Whether that's building up a couple of aircraft carriers to get the planes off, knowing that there won't be pressure due to either these dead German tanks or the fact that we're not going to commit the cruiser and we're not going to commit the transport for Germany on turn 4 to kill England. So it looks like we've stalled, or maybe we better to say that Japan is about to turn the corner because India is also under attack. So like the pressure on both of the English positions has not really been relieved yet, and this is made for a very sharp game where you have to be very precise. Obviously I was imprecise in the Pacific, but you get the idea. So maybe India is actually just falling next turn with all of the counterpunch here. 3, 4, 5. I don't know if these planes can get down there. Maybe it's still another turn off, but it seems like a close match to me, and the Allies may be positioned with some good battles to win. I'm going to stop this video here at this part and pick it up for the latter half of the game. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.